For our English today, we are going to be thinking all about igloos. I thought since it's still quite snowy outside, we might want to still think about all the different things that we could learn from the snow. So this is all about igloos. We're going to be finding out what igloos are, who lives in them, why they build them in the shape that they build them, how they're built, what different types of igloos there are, how people stay warm in igloos, how you can cook in an igloo, and then we're going to be thinking about building our own igloo. Let's have a look at what igloos are. So, what are igloos? The word igloo comes from an Inuit word which means a house built from any material. So, Inuits are people who live in very, very cold places in the north, like Canada, and they're called Inuits. We say igloo to describe homes made out of ice and snow. And an igloo is also called a snow house or a snow hut. So here's a picture of an igloo. Who lives in them? Who lives in an igloo? So people from Canada, Greenland, and Alaska used to make igloos. Some Inuit people still do. So here is a picture of some Inuit people who might build igloos. They make igloos as a shelter when they are traveling in the winter. So they might travel through the snow and they might not, it might take them a long time and they will need to stop overnight and they'll build an igloo as a shelter to keep them safe and warm. As Inuit people often move around all year, igloos are perfect for them to stay in during the winter. Why do they use this shape? Because an igloo is a dome shape. They are unique, so they are very special because they are made out of blocks of snow or ice, leaning in on each other without any other support. So they build it just from the snow in a dome shape. So the reason it's in a dome is because the blocks are leaning towards each other so that they can meet at the top to make the roof. How are they built? Well, they collect blocks of dry, hard snow and they cut them out using snow spades and saws. Now, you might be able to build an igloo outside today because the snow has gone quite hard and quite dry because it's iced over. You might be able to build one by using, if you've got a bucket that you could put the snow into to make a block out of your snow. A circle of blocks is usually built on top of a hole, so you'd be able to make a circle of blocks just on the ground, gradually getting smaller and smaller as a dome shape. And then you can, it says you can even put a window in. A block of clear ice can be added as a window to let light in. Tunnels are used as doors, and they would hang animal skins over the door as a flap to keep it a bit warmer inside. And ice and fur can be used to make beds. There are different types of igloos. So what are the different types? There are small igloos, which would usually be built on open sea as ice shelters, and you would only use them maybe for 1 or 2 nights while they were off on a hunting trip. So they're kind of like the pictures we've just seen in the dome shape. Middle-sized igloos are for 1 or 2 families to live in for a bit longer. And then look at this. Bigger igloos are usually in groups of 2 and could have up to 5 rooms with room for up to 20 people. These were used for special occasions and to live in. Wow, can you imagine the size of that? How do they stay warm? So you would think it would be really, really, really cold inside an igloo because it's made out of snow, but snow is a great insulator. That means it can keep things warm. It's like a big blanket. And the air pockets trapped in the snow keep things warm. So even when it's really cold, really, really cold outside, -45, inside the igloo, it can get really warm up to 16 degrees because of the body heat, because our bodies make heat. And if you light a small fire or a lamp inside it can get even warmer. And having a small fire or a lamp inside wouldn't make it melt because it's so, so cold out. It would be so, so cold outside of your igloo. People even cook inside of their igloos. How do you cook in them? Inuit people sometimes cooked fish and meat with seal oil. A fire is often built or hot coals put in a hole on the floor inside the igloo, and then they can cook the food on a rack above it. And it doesn't melt the igloo because it's so cold outside. It would be so freezing outside of the igloo that it doesn't melt just from having the cooker inside. Some fun facts about an igloo. A properly built igloo is so strong that a person can stand on the roof and it wouldn't collapse. If you build an igloo, don't try that though, especially not if anybody's inside, because it has to be a really strong igloo that's been built properly. Skilled Inuit people can build an igloo in just an hour. So it doesn't take them long to build one when they know how. And igloos can last forever as long as the temperature outside is 0 degrees or lower. It will start to melt if it's warmer. So if we build igloos outside today, they might last a little while, but they will eventually start to melt. Now, you can have a go at building your own igloo. You could have a go at building your own igloo in the snow today outside, but what I'd like you to have a go at today is to design your own igloo. So I want you to draw a picture to design your own igloo. Will you design it with a window? How many people are you going to be building it for? What size is it going to be? What shape is your igloo going to be? How will you build it? You could choose to go outside and have a go at building it in the snow if you've got enough snow outside in your garden today. If you might have used all your snow on a snowman yesterday, but if you want to try it outside, you could. I know some people did try building igloos outside today. I've seen some pictures. But if you don't want to go outside to build it with snow, you could have a go inside. You could use some junk modelling material, so some boxes. You could use some blocks or some Lego. It even says here you could use some sugar cubes, but I'm not sure if many people will have any sugar cubes in their house. But you can design your igloo and build your igloo. When you design it, I would like you to label it. So design what it will look like and label it with words like window and door and walls and bricks. So let me know what the different parts of your igloo are. When you have designed your igloo and built your igloo, I'd like you to evaluate it. I'd like you to do some reflecting, have a look at it and see what you think of it, what's worked well. Are there any improvements that you can make on your igloo? Try to think, when you've finished, try to think of 2 good things about your igloo. What worked really well? What have you done to build it that was a really good idea? Are there any things that you could do to improve it? Don't forget to have lots of fun whilst you are doing it.